We're stuck in Vermont.
Welcome to Stuck in Vermont, brought to you by 7 Days and sponsored by Hotel Vermont and Vermont Tourism. My name's Ava Solberger. We are here in downtown Burlington on a spooky fall evening for a Queen City Ghostwalk.
People like to call me Vermont's Queen of Halloween. My husband Roger and I like to say we've been scaring up history since 2002.
Paranormal historian Thea Lewis is our guide, and tonight our tour is called Darkness Falls.
Can Burlington really be so very haunted? And it is. Here in the city of Burlington, I'm going to be walking around tonight telling you about the ghosts of the downtown. I love Burlington's history. First of all, our ghosts are pretty diverse. And also we've got some characters who have wandered through the city creating ghosts that are pretty famous, like H.H. Holmes, America's first serial killer. You have such an eclectic group of people coming to listen to ghost stories. And please, no texting during the tour. All of these little text messages, they're actually causing a marked decrease in spirit activity. Please do take a look at that rotating Nectar's sign across the street. You see, back in the early 1900s, that building that houses Nectar's today, it was a place called the Amuse You Emporium. And people have told me that upstairs in that building, they have seen a shadowy figure walking back and forth. Two children, a boy and a girl, believed to be twins, have been known on occasion to show up to the kitchen staff in Nectar's, asking, can anyone help them find their parents?
Ooh, will we survive? I don't know.
I have to tell you, I was a lousy history student when I was in school. To me, it was all sort of facts and memorizing dates. As soon as you take a kid and give them a hook, in this case ghosts, and make it relatable, they are all about the history. Mike, can I entice you to hold this bell for me tonight on the tour? Sure. Ringing a bell can actually help drive away an evil or unfriendly spirit. So Mike, if you should sense the merest presence of an evil spirit on our tour tonight, I'd like you to ring the bell, okay? Here we are, near the back side, or what I like to call the dark side, of the Flynn Center for the Performing Arts. A pretty marquee out front on Main Street and a whole lot of spooky out back. The ghost who's been seen more times than any other, we simply call the Flynn Ghost. Floating 50 feet above the Flynn stage was a guy wearing gray workers' coveralls and dusty boots. He looked at the two gentlemen, and they stared completely goggle-eyed back at him, and he tipped an imaginary hat, and he was gone. People have told me the Flynn Ghost is the spirit of a man who died back in 1930 while the final preparations were being made to open that theater. I absolutely believe in ghosts. I come from a family of folks, mostly the women, who are a little bit ghosty. We see things other people don't. We're gonna head off to the next location. Follow me down the alley, if you please. The way I'd explain what a ghost is like, they tend to be interested still in what's going on here on Earth, even though they're spirits who have passed on. And when they present themselves, they're no different than they were when they were alive.
Be careful, there's a lot of ghosts down there, they might get you.
Close your eyes and imagine that this is not the TD Bank, but it's what it was back from the late 1800s to the late 1950s. A beautiful 200-room hotel called the Hotel Van Ness, the building that's over there, the old Hotel Vermont. These places were luxury hotels in the day. There were these ladies in the hotels. They didn't work for the hotels. These days you would probably call them independent contractors. They hired some young men with strong backs to dig a tunnel underneath St. Paul Street, from underneath the Hotel Van Ness to underneath the Hotel Vermont. And that way, when those ladies came, and they'd just simply go traipsing from one side to another. That same tunnel was used to move hooch during the time of Prohibition. There's a guy who used to work at What Ails You. He saw a young woman standing at the end of the hall wearing a beautiful, shiny, aqua-colored dress, and that's when she disappeared. So how many people here have seen a ghost? How many people here have slept with a ghost? Burlington is such a haunted little city, one of the most haunted cities in New England, as a matter of fact. And when I walk through the city, particularly at night, I think about the ghosts that I know about, like the Allen brothers, Ira and Ethan. Ethan Allen, he was a Revolutionary War hero. His home was in Burlington's Intervale lands, and he said that when he passed away, he was going to be reincarnated as a magnificent white horse. Folks who have been walking that way, they'll be stunned to see this animal, a beautiful, powerful horse, running back and forth in the fields of the Intervale. Favorite haunt in the city of Burlington. It's the Fallat House, built by a man named Timothy Fallat back in the mid-1800s. Is it any wonder Timothy Fallat and Lorraine want to stay here in this building long after they've passed on? That lower left-hand window is a window where people have claimed to see an apparition that, to me, sounds like it must be Lorraine Fallat. We're headed off to a much more modern haunt, our local Burlington Town Center Mall. How can a place like a mall be so haunted? It's a modern place. Well, you have to consider what was there years ago, back in the 1800s, early 1900s, like an old funeral home, a blacksmith shop. There was a good old-fashioned sanitarium, this apparition that people call the White Lady. She appears in a long white dressing gown with a bonnet trimmed with lace. She's always got her arms outstretched in front of her as though she's searching for something or someone. And the precursor to her visit is a baby crying. Here we are, our last story of the evening. That building over here behind me, now known as the American Flatbread Company. Great pizza there, great beer, but one of the most haunted little restaurants you could visit anywhere in New England. Servers who were female have felt particularly targeted. They'd go down into the basement, and once they got there, if they were alone, the lights would go out, and then they'd feel themselves pinched or pushed, or maybe they'd have their hair yanked hard by somebody they couldn't see.
You can go on a ghost walk with Thea through Halloween, and we will get stuck in Vermont with you again real soon. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and sign up for our weekly email alerts. Look behind you, Marco. Okay.
I do have one little bit of advice for all of you. Please do make sure you check around inside your vehicle to be sure you don't take anyone away with you who didn't come with you, okay? And happy Halloween. Thank you. Thanks so much.